Hey, it's Bill Scorer, Florida Bass Paddler, and welcome to the pit. I don't know about that. Anyway, welcome to the man cave. We're doing a couple upgrades today. As you know, there's a lot of great companies out there that produce kayak products. They're 3D printed or custom molded, etc. And these are not products that are readily available on the market. Some are great. Some I think have a lot of value. I use a couple of those companies. One in particular is YakHobby. What we'll be doing today is we'll be upgrading the handle from YakHobby that they sent me to try out on my Old Town PDL, as well as some of the shims, which I'll explain what these are for, as well as a paddle clip riser. And this has a couple different uses. And what I mean by that, it's not just for the Old Town paddle clip. Stay tuned. So let's start with the easiest part of the installation today, and that's going to be the paddle clip block. Why would you need one? Well, when we get closer, when we do the actual install, and basically it's just two screws that are changing as well as putting the block on. Old Town Watercraft's hulls on some of their boats have an indentation for the paddle clip to sit nice and flush into the hull. This is not a bad thing by any means. This allows your paddle to be as close to the hull as possible, not sticking out too far where it can get caught up in some brush if you're getting too close to cover, you're fighting a big fish into the mangroves, etc. That is why it's done that way. However, if you wanted to use, let's say, like the YakAttack padlock, which we have here, we're not putting this on today, but just as a suggestion, a long time ago I tried this product out and I had to use spacers where the screws go because it wouldn't fit flush due to the indentation in the hull. So by using a block, you can either pull your paddle out a little bit more if you like to, for say a little bit more clearance, or if you want to use an aftermarket brand, like I said, if you're a fan of YakAttack and want to use something like the padlock, you can use the YakHobby block, to give you the lift away from the indentation to have it installed on your kayak. Let's go ahead and put the block on now. Okay, so we're going to take the paddle clip off. I'm gonna just go ahead and loosen those two screws. Okay. Now the YakHobby, you get two longer screws as well as two washers, so we're going to use those next. Here's the block. Now you can see here's the indentation here. It's very, very modest, but again, if you wanted to use, like, again, the YakAttack cell block, the YakAttack padlock, right now the edges come just beyond where the indentation sinks down, and there's probably almost a 1/4 of an inch space between where the screw goes through the paddle holder and into here. Now, why is that relevant? Because, well, if you over tighten it, you may flex the paddle clip, you may damage it, you may possibly put unnecessary tension on the threaded inserts here. So again, that's why YakHobby came out with the block, which is going to go right there, and then you'll have a flush area to work with. So we're going to go ahead. Again, I'm sticking with the Old Town one. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it like so. A washer on there. All right. There we go, it's on there nice and snug. The block allows you to still use the rubber paddle clip there that comes with the Old Town model. So that's that. It's probably raised up an inch. I'm not sure if we would have needed this for clearance for the handle. That's why I wanted to install this first. So now let's go ahead and start the handle process. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to not only upgrade the handle to the new X-Sport Extreme Duty rubber handle, we're also going to install some of these shims. And I have not, you see it's still sealed. I haven't done this yet, so we're going to be doing this install together, so bear with me. It has never been a problem. I always want to stress that. I love Old Town boats, but there's always been some play in these handles, and that's just the way it's made on the inside. Again, these shims are supposed to correct that, so we're going to see if that works too. So we're going to go ahead step by step, and we're going to get this done. So the first thing the directions say to do is we need to remove this YakHobby plate here. So make sure you have the proper bit for your screwdriver, because they're tiny screws. Okay. So we got that off. Next part is we need to carefully remove this Old Town sticker with an X-Acto. You want to be careful. Well, if you're going to reuse it, you want to be careful not to damage it. I'm not shoving the blade underneath it. I'm trying to pry it with the blade side. All right, we got that off. There's some glue on there. It looks like you gotta take this part off next. Let's see. Okay, and now we're gonna lift this out carefully. We don't want to hit the rudder control lines, which are right here. You just want to be very careful. Okay. Next step is we're going to take this handle off. Let's see. There we go. Again, there's some glue in there. Oh, that's the part I forgot. We're gonna get a long ratchet there to hold that on. Okay, so the directions called for a 7/16 well socket. Now, this is a 2020. I'm not sure if Old Town, when they've redone the boats, have changed the size. Mine's actually a 3/8, so got the ratchet in there. And now we should be able to get this off. There we go. Okay. You don't want to drop the ratchet or the bolt into the boat. There we go. Okay, so just pops right off. I'm going to dry this up a little bit. This is a man cave. We use our shirts. Now, before we put the new handle on, we're going to install the shim while it's off. Now it looks like you get a cool sticker, and you get 3 shims, all different widths. So there's, let me see if I could see it again. I got old man eyes, so can't make that out. It's okay. So I got the smallest one. It recommends you start with the smallest one, which is the 0.060 thick. And that's just going to fit right over that. So we're going to be doing all this together. It's nice and snug. I like that. Okay. More water in there. You're probably wondering why it's wet inside my handle. After every trip, I take my kayak to the do-it-yourself car wash, and I use the high pressure water and such to clean it because I don't have a hose in my place. So I'm going to take the new handle, and it should fit right on there. Now, my rudder is straight in the back, so they gotta make sure you put the handle on properly. Okay, so we got our new handle on. What we want to do now is we want to get that bolt back on that holds the handle onto the steering assembly. This part may seem like it's a little tricky. Oh, yep, that worked. You hold that nylon locking nut in place with your finger, twist it onto the ratchet. Told you we get it. We'll hold that bad boy in place. And now we're going to go ahead and tighten that screw again. There we go. Now, get these guys in there, get this in place. And now we're going to go ahead and put those other screws back to hold the base on. And you want to make sure, really important, you want to make sure that your rudder control lines are shaped like a U or a V when you're putting it back on. You don't want those twisted. And then slowly maneuver that round portion back into the hull, and they will slide up the sides. Now I'm going to put these screws back on in a crisscross motion. I'm not going to tighten them all the way down yet. All right, that's on there. So I'm going to tighten these up again by hand. I don't want to over torque them. Handles on. It's a little tight, so I'm going to see if I can make an adjustment in the back first. The shim took the play out of it. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to go to the back. Let's see how this works. All right, so I made adjustments with the rudders. I want to show you another cool product when we're done from YakHobby. But handles on. Now you have two ways to do this. You can go ahead and you can put your Old Town medallion back on if you want, because that will fit in there. Or you can put the YakHobby medallion back on. I'm going to put the YakHobby medallion back on because I want to actually replace the Old Town medallion on the other side of my kayak. So I'm going to find, again, the proper head for the smaller screws. All right, she's on there. Now let's try a quick little test before we get it out of the water. Got my paddle behind me here. We have clearance. Now, you really didn't need the block, although it's a cool item, but we have clearance here. Handle won't get in the way. Plenty of clearance here. So that was, I was wondering with the longer handle, I'm like, I wonder if the handle will bump the paddle at all, and it doesn't. Again, I'm going to recenter the paddle. That's the center of the paddle there. Again, not even close. It's fine. Now, if you use like the double header, up here, like some people do, there may be some contact, so just keep that in mind. But overall, it's a cool handle. I like it. Let's go ahead and show you that part in the back for the rudder lines. All right, remember I had to adjust my rudder lines? See these? These are from YakHobby. XD rudder thumb nuts. If you own an Old Town, you have to use a small wrench or needle nose to turn these to adjust the rudder lines. It'll adjust the tension on them. You know, too tight, sometimes it's really hard to turn the rudder. Too loose, there's a lot of play and you're really not getting the proper steering. So these go over your rudder line to this slit here, little black zip tie to keep it on there, and they slide over, and then you just kind of push them on. They may pop off on occasion, but you're not going to lose them. And basically, you can just turn this to adjust the tension on your rudder line. It's just another really cool product. They're available in a couple different colors. Probably one of my top 2 items that I've gotten from YakHobby that I really enjoy. These have made adjusting the rudder a lot easier because you can do it on the fly. You know, if you're on the water and you feel like there's too much play in your rudder control lines, you can shore up real quick and just make the adjustments here rather than having to dig out a tool and turn them. So there you have it. All right, so we got the handle on, the shim's on, the paddle riser block is on. If it doesn't really make a difference, let's get the boat out in the water and find out. So here we are out on the water. It is a beautiful 41 degrees. I can't feel my hands. That's okay. Fish don't want to come out and play, but we got to play with the new handle. I really like it. Initially when I got on the water, it was very tight. I mean, the handle was like very tight. Reached out to Aaron from YakHobby. He said, you know, give it a little while. If it's still tight, you're going to have to go in and loosen the pivot bolt. And that's the one that had the nylon nut and then the bolt that went through the handle assembly. After a little while of using it, it has loosened up a hair. It's still tight, but in a good way. It feels solid. The rudder is more responsive. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, once you get your handle on there, you know, play with it. you know, adjust it, see if you have to adjust your rudder cables. But overall, it's really made the kayak responsive. It's a beefy handle, easy to grab while you're you know, looking forward where you're pedaling. Another item I want to bring to your attention is the knob. Now, I like this knob. I had this same knob on a previous handle extension I had gotten from YakHobby. But they have a variety of different knobs that come in different sizes, different colors, different shapes, some that are round, some that are more contour for like if you want to put the handle here in between your like thumb and knuckles. You can take this off. It's basically just a screw with some Loctite on it. You can change out the knob, but overall I really like this handle. Again, made the kayak responsive. It's easier for me to, again, find it when I'm pedaling, and this is just a great item. I've been using YakHobby stuff for a while now. They continuously try to find ways to improve on designs that they've already made. Again, they've made some handle extensions, which I thought were great, and I've had one on my kayak for a long time until I got this bad boy, and I definitely invite you to check out YakHobby. They have a wide variety of accessories for Old Town, Wilderness. I believe they have some for Vibe. I think there's some native as well. I'm not sure, but check out YakHobby. I'm going to put their website as well as their Facebook page and Instagram below. I'm Bill Secorda, Florida Bass Paddler. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you see, please subscribe and show me some love and support. Tight lines. I will see you on the water. Hopefully in warmer weather.